Hello, everybody. This is Chris Addig with the Veterans Law Blog, and I am coming today to talk to you about the Board of Veterans Appeals, or the BVA. So I'm not going to bore you with all the which part of the VA they're in, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to talk to you about some of the basic things that you need to know about the BVA just to be able to speak intelligently about claims. No legal strategy in this video, just talking about what the BVA is, how it works, who it's made up of, just so that you have enough knowledge to understand what you're going into if you decide to appeal to the BVA. So the first question is, how do you get an appeal to the BVA? And there's, well, several ways, but let's go ahead and talk about the two big ones. So let's say you have a legacy appeal. And a legacy appeal is something where you filed the VA Form 9 before February 19th, 2019, or you received a ratings decision before February 19th, 2019 that you have filed that they've sent a statement of the case and a VA Form 9 out on. So that's the legacy system. If you are sitting waiting on a board hearing, you've already gone through that system, so you are already almost there. So under the AMA, though, the modernized appeal process, there's a couple of ways to, well, there's one way to get to the board and a couple of ways to do it. So I'm not going to talk about all the different board dockets here, but basically under the appeals modernization, if you get a ratings decision that you do not like from the VA, you are going to fill out the new notice of disagreement form to appeal directly to the BVA. And there's three ways that you can bring that appeal to them. You can bring it in a no hearing, no evidence docket, a no hearing but evidence docket, and a evidence and hearing docket. We're not going to cover those in this video. Too much information for this video. But those are generally the two paths. If you're at a legacy, you got to go through the NOD/SOC VA 9. If you are in the appeals modernization or the AMA process, you just got to file a notice of disagreement within 1 year of your VA ratings decision. So what will happen at the BVA? What can they do for you? Well, there's four things that they can do in any given case. The first thing they can do is they can affirm the VA ratings decision. That means that they're saying, yep, VA got it right. We're not going to change anything. So 80% of the time, those decisions are getting remanded or reversed by the Veterans Court, so it tells you how accurate they're doing up there. So that's the first kind. They can affirm the decision of the VA. The second thing they can do is they can reverse the decision of the of the VA. And basically, that's exactly the opposite of the first one, affirm. When the BVA reverses, which is incredibly rare, they say that the VA ratings decision is all wrong, and in fact, there's no other way to look at this evidence, so we're going to go ahead and change the decision. Okay, so the third thing that they can do is they can remand, and they can send it back to the VA regional office for additional development. You're going to see less and less of that, probably very little, if any, of that under appeals modernization. There's just not going to be a whole lot of remands coming down. We'll talk about the reasons why that is in another video. That's not, too much detail for this video. So that's the first thing you got is affirm, remand, reverse, and the last thing they can do is they can refer. They can refer a case that's outside the board's jurisdiction back to the VA regional office to consider it. This happened most frequently in claims that the veteran brought up and they said, well, I got this decision and I appealed it, or if they had a Q claim that they raised, something like that, they could say, it's not in our jurisdiction, we're going to refer it back to the VA regional office. I expect you'll see fewer and fewer of those under AMA, but I just don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. So those are the four things that can happen. What law does the BVA consider? Well, they're supposed to, because they're an executive branch, they're supposed to follow the laws of Congress, which are 38 U.S.C. or Title 38 of the United States Code, Title 38 of the Code of Federal Regulations, which is the VA's interpretation of those laws and as they apply to the executive branch. And then they're also supposed to follow general counsel opinions. So if the VA Office of General Counsel issues what's called a precedential opinion, then the BVA must follow it. And lastly, they're required to follow the instructions of the Secretary. So I'm not exactly sure what the instructions of the Secretary are. I've never actually seen that happen. But I imagine, well, we can all imagine what it is. We'll just leave that kind of out there. But in any event, those are the basic laws that they have to consider. They also have to rely on precedential decisions of the Veterans Court. You will find that if you get a BVA decision and it's negative, that 70 to 80% of those historically are getting reversed or remanded by the Veterans Court. So it just makes sense to appeal to the Veterans Court to see if you can't get that fixed. So they're making a lot of mistakes, which tells you they're not following the law. Or what probably is just as likely is they're just doing too many decisions too fast. As they used to say in the old days, haste makes waste. So I think that's what's going on more than anything else there. So we've got 96 board judges. So far in fiscal year of 2019, the BVA has issued 90,799, and that's with 2 weeks left in fiscal year 2019. If you do that math, and you've got all 96 judges working 52 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, that allows them 2.2 minutes per case to make a decision. So, I can't even get the C file opened in 2.2 minutes. So I don't know how they're making a decision like that. And then, frankly, they've got a staff attorneys that are helping them out and all that sort of stuff. But they're just not keeping them current on the law, so that sloppiness kind of translates through. So, bottom line, basically 4 things can happen to you at the BVA. They can affirm, remand, reverse, or refer. And you get there under the new AMA process by filing a notice of disagreement and choosing one of the 3 dockets. So if you would like to learn more about those 3 dockets, I want you to go ahead and check out the video that's popping up next on your screen, which is all about the appeals modernization or AMA process.